Thank you. Sorry, I've had a bit of a challenge trying to unmute.
Technical
And
issues.
yeah, and I'm trying to uh oh, finally.
There we go.
There we go.
Good to see you.
Hi everyone, good to see you.
I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to be many people in today's session. We're going to try and have this at least weekly for those that
Okay.
can't join and don't need to join. It's fine. But basically, all I wanted us to just touch on is a few things that I would like to
Mhm.
just remind everybody of and bring under all of our facilitators and faculty attention. Hey,
Yeah.
Anati, you got your hand up?
Yes, can you? Okay, I thought the meeting was not being recorded. I was going to say, can you please record?
It's recorded. It's being recorded. I will share the recording. Okay, so guys, thank you for joining me on this very short notice session. I think we're going to have this on a weekly basis at the same time, same place. And if you run into any issues whilst delivering the Ignite program, please do reach out to me. You don't have to wait until we've got this session. If it's something that's going to hold you back or delay your students in any manner whatsoever, please reach out to me directly via WhatsApp and let's see if we can resolve the problem before it becomes a block, you know. But there are a couple of things that I just wanted to quickly bring onto everybody's attention is that I'm seeing that there's a lot of faculty out there, and I'm not going to point out anybody, but there are faculty that I'm aware of and I can see the progress happening, where students are submitting, but there's no evaluation being done. And I think it's a good thing to do the evaluation. It's going to take a minute of your time, not much. And I'm quickly going to show you how to do this using this one as an example. So if you go onto your cohort, you're going to see many cohorts on my screen, but this is just one that I'm using as an example at the moment. So at any point, if it's milestone 1, 2, 3, or 4, yours must say not open yet. But for you to open up the milestone, I'm just going to quickly go to one right at the beginning here. This one. So yours might still look like this, or you might have released milestone 1 or 2 or 3 and so forth. But in order to release a milestone, all you need to do is click on it. It's going to ask you to put in a date. You can put in today's date or tomorrow's date and a specific time. So that is when it will open up for the students to submit. However, there will be a due date as well. So you're going to give them a week or a couple of days for them to do their submissions and uploads. And you put in the release date when you want it to open up for their submission, as well as the closing date where they will need to make sure that it's uploaded before that day and time that you decide upon. You can decide literally, how long you want to give them, but give them a due date so that they know there is a deadline involved. And then the third thing here is evaluation deadline. That is for you as the facilitator to make sure that you have evaluated all of your submissions before that date. So give yourself a deadline. It's something that you can always update and you can exchange it or extend it. But the deadline it's not cast in stone. Okay, but it's something that we need to have there to keep the momentum flowing. So I'm just going to go back to that cohort that I was using as an example. This is one that's finished, but there are 1 or 2 opens here. So I'm just going to use this as an example. So if I wanted to extend the deadline, first of all, let's say I want to extend milestone 4. All you need to do is click on the deadline. You can just click on that deadline and you will extend everybody's deadline. Or if you've had people that have already submitted and you have evaluated them, like you can see here, we've got a faculty score and we've got a regional manager score. So the regional manager score is from our side where we do an evaluation to see who do we select for global jury certification. But your score will show on the left-hand side as the faculty score. And you'll see that there's a faculty score outstanding here. And I'm just going to do it as an example. To extend or open up this one specific or multiple. You can select multiple here, but you'll see there's a little tab here that you can select to extend the evaluation, for instance. So I can click on there, go to extend deadline right at the top. Now I can click on the deadline of submission, which I think is passed now already, but the evaluation deadline I can extend. So I can extend that evaluation deadline to tomorrow, 6 p.m. or whatever the case is. So that I know I've got time up until tomorrow, 6 p.m. to do that evaluation, or 7 p.m., whatever the case is. And that's it. So now the evaluation deadline has been extended. Oh yeah, you should always extend like that one the same, or which you just need to make sure that there's a submission deadline in as well. So I'm just going to say today, 9 p.m. and there we go. Okay. So now the submission deadline has been extended for the student, but also your evaluation deadline has now been extended. So now in order to evaluate it, I mean, all you need to do now is click on the selected venture. You'll see that the submission is there. It is for you to review, work through it. And whilst we are here, guys, I just quickly want to take you through some of the nuances and details of student submissions. Please make sure your student complete all of the slides. And this Zeus example I've shared with everybody, and I hope you have it. And if you don't, let me know, and I'm happy to share this Zeus example with you that you can also share with your students. It gives them a very good guideline of what is required at each, and what, how to phrase things perhaps, and make sure they don't miss out on anything. So the first slide is basic, the why, what, and how. The second slide is the problem statement. It gives some guidelines on there. Make sure that they complete everything and that they include a link to a website or an article that can help substantiate. It doesn't need to provide all of the detail, but it can help to substantiate the problem and validate the problem for them. So it could be that if you click on that link, that it'll tell you more about the specific problem that they've identified in the world. And it's just context. It won't give any specific data, but it might just give some context. And it's always good to have that sort of validating link or substantiating link there to help your problem. Then if we look at the problem interviews and survey results, very basic. What we need to show there is how many customers they, hypothetically interviewed. They don't need to go out into the real world and do the interviews. But hypothetically, how many customers would they have interviewed? What would the mode of interview be, whether it's online, face-to-face, or through telephone calls, WhatsApp, social media, doesn't matter. How many of them would hypothetically agree to the problem? How many would hypothetically say that they don't need a solution? And again, how many of them said that they are happy with the current solutions? So that's just for them to understand how to do this. They don't need to physically go and do it, because there's not enough time in the program to do real problem interviews. Will probably take you up to a month. And obviously, in our cases, the students don't have that time or the bandwidth to do it. The important thing is for them to know how to do it and why to do it, and also to think about the questions that they will ask their customers. That's the important thing to understand, is make sure that they ask them the right questions. They should never sell their solution at this stage, or even tell the customer what the solution is all about. It's basically just making sure that they ask them the right questions. And this, in this case, it says, how do you currently manage your online and offline meetings, classes, tasks, and appointments? Do you often struggle to coordinate between different platforms and tools? How often do you miss or forget important events? You want to collate and get data that you can use and understand the problem from the customer's perspective. No selling, no pointing out what the solution is or telling the solution at this stage. Nothing to that extent. Then the slide where most people sort of fall is the market estimation. And this is not about getting exact numbers or exact values. It's an estimation. It is even off the top of your head. How many customers do you have in your SOM market? SOM market could be your local market, your first market where they will launch. How much money does a customer spend annually on your products or services and multiplying that by the estimated number of customers, it'll give you, some value. And it's also good to point out where each market is. The SOM market is in South Africa, the SAM market is the sub-Saharan Africa, and TAM is global in this instance. And at each of those levels, they estimate the number of customers and they estimate the spend and then they estimate the value. Again, it's good to have a reference point here. So any source that they can find online or website, a link to an article that can add or support this statement. It doesn't need to provide the data or the exact numbers. As long as it is supportive of their evaluation, it's good. Customer persona, I think that's very clear. Everybody understands that basic. I see a lot of customer personas being done, and it's sort of, I think the students get it. It's not too difficult. The value proposition canvas, again, I think most students get that fairly easily. What at the solution, now it's their opportunity to tell what is their solution to the problem that they've identified. They don't need to type up too much information, but what is important to come forward from the solution side is to explain why they believe this solution is big. It's a big business. How can this be scalable in the future? Why is it not just a localized idea? If they're going to, polish shoes on the street corner as a one-man business, that is not a business. That is just sort of self-employment. But we want them to think out of the box. We want them to think, how big can this product go or this service go? What is the potential in the future for it for scale, and how will it be allowed to scale? That is something important that they can add to their solution. This description of the solution doesn't need to be too extensive, but to describe why they think this is big or this could be big in the future, that's important. Now, the competitor analysis, I think, is fairly basic. Everybody gets that. Again, in the competitor analysis, it's important for them to highlight what is their unique value proposition, what sets them apart from their competitors. And they must please name the competitors, even if it's just in names that they make up, doesn't matter. But they must put a name. They not say competitor 1 or competitor 2 and so on. Give them names, make up names if you don't have them, break them down, create hypothetical competitors. The idea is not for you to do a competitor analysis in depth with existing competitors out in the market if you don't know who they are. But if you understand why it's important to do a competitor analysis and how to do a competitor analysis, that is a skill set that you can take with you. So the important thing is to highlight what is the unique value proposition that their business idea has against the competitors. Then in the lean canvas, I think most people get fairly straightforward, but I see they do skip out on the business model. And all that the business model asks is to explain the business process in whichever form or format they feel can help. So it can be a description of points, step 1, customer engages with us online. We reach out back to them, they fill in a form, they pay a deposit, we will send somebody out to do evaluation, we complete the work, they pay us the balance, something like that. It's just, how does the business model work? Very, very basic. The MVP is something that I see a lot of people struggle with. MVP, you only need to upload. You can find 2 or 3 photos online that can help describe your MVP. It doesn't need to be your own photos of your product, or it doesn't need to be a demo solution that you need to create. Find photos that you can use or download online, upload 2 or 3 of them that tell the story or describe your solution, your MVP. Now, you remember your MVP, the difference between the MVP and the actual solution slide is the detail. The solution tells you what the solution will do for the customer in relation to the problem. The MVP explains how it will be done. How will the customer engage with us? What will the benefits be? Look at, even if they don't have social media links, they can create them for the time being. Just create mock website links. But it's important that they understand the MVP is all about the product, the interaction with the customers, the steps the customers take to engage, and the couple of pictures that help to make it clear how the business or the product works. And then at the MVP validation, again, this is a hypothetical mock exercise. They don't need to do this in real time because again, it will take them longer than a month to complete it if you have to do it in real time. But they can do this in a mock format or hypothetical and just complete what they expect the customer's feedback to be and put that in there. Sales plan, very basic, I think. Start at your high target, down to leads, then to opportunities, and basically down to who will the exact customer be. Breaking down into the segments, who the segmented customers are, how many customers are estimated to be. And when you talk about these numbers, we talk about the SOM numbers, who they are, where they're from, and how much will it cost to convert them into actual customers. And these are all estimated numbers, guys. They don't need to go and do a lot of research here. The important thing is for them to describe the process here that they have followed and why they think this is the exact numbers. Go-to-market strategy, very basic. Brand and business model, who the target customers are, what is the unique value proposition, the positioning statement they can create, vision statement they can create, and then the action plan. How will they take this business or this idea to market? Step 1, Q1, so forth, so forth, so forth. And then sales and distribution model. In other words, how will the product or service reach the customers? What is the value in it for the customer? Again, it comes back to the unique value proposition and value for customers. And then they can also put those mock links in there. They can find a video online, download it, or just share. The best thing to do is to just share the link of that video in the presentation. They can import it as a online video or the link, but find a video that they can use. That doesn't mean if they want to create their own video with cell phone, a selfie video, great stuff. But that can be big and it can be cumbersome to import into a presentation. So if they can find something that's online and it's easy to share, just a link, then that is good to go. The financial plans, again, this is basic. What we need to know is the startup cost and them to describe why they believe these are expenses that they need to have at startup stage. Profit and loss. I've shared, I think, a workshop on how to guide on to complete the financial template that I've shared with everybody as well. However, this is based on the template that is on the platform, and the template on the platform comes in, I think it's Indian rupee as a domination here, and they will not be able to change that. So they need to just say whether they operate in rand, in pula, or whatever currency it is, and put that in there. Don't let them stress about, the fact that it states it's in rupees. That's not important. They can use this template or the one that I shared online. Screenshot. They don't need to put the whole thing in here. They can just screenshot it and copy and paste the screenshot in here with the description below. It's important for them to remember to put the description in because it's part of the evaluation process. Unit economics is auto-calculated by both templates, so it doesn't need to have much input from the student. The funding plan is very basic, but it's important to remember is that they need to try and identify where will they be able to find funding. It doesn't matter which region they are at or which country you're based in. Students need to do some work, research to see who is out there that could potentially be a funder or an investor or a loan grant, doesn't matter. But it's for them to think, oh, yes, I need money for this business. But it's also important to realize that I need to be able to find and know who can potentially invest in an idea or a business that I would like to launch. Again, it's basically the fund startup breakdown here. And then lastly, the team. This is important where a lot of students fail to explain. And it scores high on the evaluation. Is the description of this team, each role, if there's just one person, that's fine. Then they need to highlight what sort of key people do they need to bring on board. 2 more people in the future. They don't need to come on board as directors or whatever the case is, or members or partners. But if that person is the founder and the only entrepreneur currently in the business or working on that idea, they need to think about, if I employ a chief technology officer, what key strengths and abilities does that person need to bring to supplement mine? And the same goes for any other role, excuse me, that they might need to fill in the future. They can't just leave that out. It's important that entrepreneurs and students know you can't do it alone. At some point in time, if you're not a team now, in the future you will have to build a team. And then you need to explain, why do you think the combination of those key strengths and abilities will make this business successful and contribute to its sustainability? And really, guys, that is it. That is as basic as a completed milestone 4 can be. And to evaluate that, every slide comes with a key metric. And you can go and read through it and see, okay, the problem opportunity is poorly defined. In this case, it's not too bad. And then give your input here. You can just keep it short to say, well defined. Okay. And you can literally copy that. I don't want you to, but you can, and say, well defined and supportive information. Whatever feedback you want to give, that's really key, that you provide the feedback that you find in there. I'm not going to evaluate it in too much detail. We don't have time here. I'm just going to copy and paste this in for the sake of time, but this is just the demo version, so it's not going to affect anybody. So I just want to show you guys that you need to evaluate and use the metric there to score them accordingly. What we aim to do is, at milestone 4, we want to use your evaluation as the basis for our global jury certification process. We are no longer going to do evaluation because we really do not have the bandwidth. At this moment in time, we've got more than 1,000 teams in Africa that we are monitoring or being delivered to by our faculty. That makes it impossible for us to evaluate every single one. So we will be, sort of do spot evaluations based on your evaluation. So during the program 1, 2, and 3, please provide feedback and guidance to the student to ensure that they at least make the bare requirements. And the bare requirements is based on this one that I've shared with you. This is bare requirements. Very, very, very basic. They can add more to this, but they cannot take anything away from this bare. This is what a basic completed milestone 4 should look like for us to consider it being worthy of the time to put it in front of the global jury for certification. And we're going to use your milestone 4 evaluation score as the guideline from now on. So that was really one of the things that I wanted to discuss today, is to make sure that everybody understands that. And I'll share this recording with all faculty. I'm going to pause there after talking a lot and open up for any questions that anybody might have in relation to what I've just shared with you, or anything else for that matter. Nobody? Everybody? Anati? Are you with me?
Yes, I have no questions at the moment.
Aneswa? Prof. Demery, you got your hand up?
Yes, I did, and I hope you can hear me.
Clearly.
Yeah, definitely we are at different stages. While some are finishing, some are just starting.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm one of those who are starting, and I've heard your explanation about the term some and some. Yeah, is there a simpler guided approach that we can use to help the students understand? Because I've done it in the way we got it from the training we just had last month. but they don't seem to be getting it.
Okay.
Although I'm not quite there, I was trying to do that.
Yeah.
As I was giving an overview. Yeah.
I understand. I understand completely. So basically, what you would like is a simpler format that can be used for students to understand the calculation process. Would that help?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If there's one available, I don't mind looking at it and trying to see how I can adopt it or how I can use it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sure. Perhaps let me spend a minute on this and just it's not as complicated as it looks from a high level.
Okay.
TAM, SAM, and SOM are three different market levels. So as we know, and I'm working from the bottom up. Yeah, it's always better
Yeah.
to work from the bottom up than from the top down, specifically for students because it's simpler process.
Yeah.
So SOM, being your service obtainable market, is your first market entry. There where you believe you'll be able to sell or offer your products first. Whether it is a country or a specific region or a targeted customer segment. It could be customers based in Nairobi in a specific suburb, as your SOM market. Now, how many customers do you believe are in that market? It could be 100,000, it could be 50. It's an estimation. Nobody knows for sure, but on estimate, if you had to think about it, how many customers do you believe are based in that specific region or segment that you want to start with at? No? So in this case, it's 17 million because they are offering an app. Apps reach people quite far. And it's not to say that all 70 million are customers. That's not the point. That is just the size of that market on an estimated level. It could be that they will only get to 500,000 customers at the end of the day. Nobody knows at this stage, and it's not important to know. What is important to know is the size. In other words, what's the potential here? So the 17 million is the estimated number of customers based in that SOM market, which in this case is South Africa, or it could be a specific region or a specific target segment. Target segment, it could be farmers, or it could be school teachers, or it could be small business owners. Now, assuming they all spend $50 annually on a product or a service similar to this, not your product or service at this stage, but if there's an app like this is a time management app. Let's say they spend on average $50 a month to pay for a Microsoft subscription, as an example. Yeah. So the value of the SOM market is 17 million times $50, which equals to $850 million. And the same principle applies for SAM. So if they expand the business after 3 years into sub-Saharan Africa, from South Africa to sub-Saharan Africa, there's going to be more customers. So there are potentially about 200 million customers in the SAM market. And again, assuming they're spending $50 each annually on a subscription fee to some or other platform or app or software, we can estimate that the 200 million times $50 equals a $10 billion market.
Okay.
And now we go up to global, so they believe after they've reached the sub-Saharan Africa, they want to expand this app globally. They want to take it and open it up globally. So that makes it even more interesting because global is global. So that's the number of students and professionals who need a scheduling tool or something like that. Estimation is there's about 1.2 billion potential customers, and again, assuming they spend $50 each over a year, we've got 1.2 billion customers spending $50, which equals to $61 billion market value.
Yeah.
So it's an estimation. It doesn't need to be spot on or on the point. But this is really as basic as a example as you can get. And it's always good to make sure the students understand they need to work from the bottom up. It's you start at SOM and then move to SAM and then to TAM. You start at ground level, you reach for sky, and then ultimately you reach for space. If you want to put it in a simple format like that. And if they look for any sources, they can just, to give you an example, if we use ChatGPT as an example, I could just say I'm going to use ChatGPT, and I say, please. I always ask ChatGPT, please, please find me an online source of information on, let's say, global usage or demand for a time management app. Let's see what ChatGPT comes up with, because it'll search the internet for anything that is in relation to that. You see what it comes up with a lot of gibberish. Yeah. I'm looking for a link. Cool. There we go. There's a link. Key mobile app statistics. If I click on that, there's a link that can help substantiate my market estimation. It's not going to give exact values, but it can help to substantiate. It just shows the reader that, there is some data that I've tried to, and I've just copied it in there. Which is there's some data out there that I have found that can substantiate these claims. These are estimated. So it's key to remember that. Estimations, not exact numbers.
Okay.
I hope that helped a bit.
Better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, cool. Anybody else with any questions? Guys, and please, as I said before, at any point in time, if you're stuck on something and you need clarification or help to explain it to the students or make sure that they grasp the concept better, reach out as soon as you can, and I'll be happy to help and assist. Okay, but please remember to open up your milestones at the right time. Make sure you put in a deadline and make sure the students know what the deadline is for the submission. Make sure they understand how to upload. There are a number of how-to videos that I have that I'll share with you if you need it for them to upload the milestone. They make sure that they can only upload PowerPoint presentations. You can only upload PPTs. No Word documents or PDFs or anything like that will be accepted. And it needs to be smaller than 20 megabytes at all time. Once they've uploaded and it's closed, please do your evaluations. It's important, and it's even now more important than ever that we have the faculty doing the evaluation so that your students can get your input. It helps you to score them, but it helps us to see at milestone 4, and we're only looking at the milestone 4 specifically, those that you believe have done good work, they've completed all of the slides and all of the concepts as per the minimum requirements on standard or beyond. In other words, they need to have 4 out of 5, which results to, I think it's 80% score. If I just go back here. Yeah, you see, I've evaluated this one and it's 4 out of 5. So we will only consider for global evaluation from a 3.8 and above. So usually it's 4 out of 5, which results to about an 80% score for them at milestone 4. And then we will set them up and link them or share them for global jury certification on top of whatever certification that you offer them at your level. Okay. Just another thing to quickly mention is we're having an event next year in March. I've shared some communication on that via the platforms and WhatsApp groups and so on, where the top 50 students and entrepreneurs that from all our programs will be selected to take part in a pitch competition, which we will prep them for. We will coach them and help them to prepare for that for the pitch competition, where they'll have an opportunity to pitch to a panel of entrepreneurs and people from financial and investment and so forth. The top 5 will receive a gift hamper from us. The top 3 will receive sponsored gifts, as well as a 3-month mentorship program that, from a sponsored perspective, that we will also help and support them on, to help them take their idea forward and to perhaps even get them funded. There are no guarantees, but they could be, after that 3-month coaching session, get the opportunity to pitch to real funders and investors. So this event will happen in March, and we're also going to recognize you as the faculty during that event. Those of you that your students do well, and there's no evaluate. Some of you have got big cohorts, some have got small cohorts. So we're not going to base it on volume. We're rather going to base it on the number of, or the percentage of your students that do achieve their global jury certification. So even if you've got 10 and 5 out of the 10 make it, we will, so you've got a 50% student global juries score, so we will also acknowledge those of you, our faculty, our partners, because we really consider you partners and part of our team, to make sure that we can make the impact with students, get the the entrepreneurial juices flowing, and hopefully we can help them to launch a venture successfully at any point and create more employment. That's ultimately our goal. So with that in mind, I will keep you guys posted on the details as it becomes more clear over the next couple of weeks. I've just shared the initial high-level view of it. Please share it with your students as well. Encourage them, and motivate them to do their best. They must put in the work. It's for their own benefit, not for yours, not for mine, not for anybody else apart from themselves. And those that do put in the hard work, we will try and reward, from our end as well. So, but guys, thank you very much. That's it from my side. Any closing questions before we can close this session? Prof. Damari, you can go, then I'll speak to Sesotho as well.
Okay, mine is not a question, but I think we might need a separate session with you, with my colleagues, because remember we had a special arrangement that they offer selected areas of this as an elective because they have ENT 1010. So we might need that session with you. What I will do is to find out when they can be available and then communicate with you.
Please do, Prof, at the soonest, and then happy to help you on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sesotho, you got your hand up as well?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Some of my students have a problem with editing the presentation. Is there some other way they can try to access it? Because they've been having problem with that.
What exactly is the problem that they experience?
They click on the presentation. I'm so sorry for the noise. They click on the presentation, and then what happens that is now they can't edit the presentation. They can't edit. They can't put the information that they want to put in there.
Let me pull down a milestone 4 template. Give me a second. Let's see if we can go through this quickly. Just find a blank one. Sorry for the delay. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, you're going to get this notification if you download it. So you need to say remove restricted fonts. Then it comes in a format like this. So if they cannot edit this, and they make sure that they enable editing like I've just done. It'll say you need to enable editing on the tab right at the top. And sometimes it'll say, like I've just done, I'm just going to close it and do it again. So if you if they open it up, you can open it up in a read-only or remove restricted font. So I'm opening up in a read-only. Now I cannot edit anything here without it shouting at me. So I need to make sure that I enable editing from the beginning so that I can edit this. So I'm just going to close it and do it again. Remove restricted fonts, and then it is in a format that I can now change it. So these boxes are text boxes. What they can do is, and I've shown this to some students, is create a text box of your own and just pull it over there. So I can say insert text box and put it in there. And now I can edit this. I can put info in here. Huh? Same goes for this one. Just say insert text box and do the same. You see, and always make sure you ask your students to remove these yellow guides when they are done with a slide. This one edits fairly easily. You can just click on it and it'll edit. No problems here. I know this one is not tricky. Again, ask them to make sure they delete these yellow guide boxes when they are done with any of the slides. This one, there's nothing that well, yes, they can edit this. They can say how many customers to interview. They can say, I do it 50. So yeah, these are fairly straightforward to edit and type in. If there are any specific slides that they're struggling with, and I know these slides, really, there's not much here. This one is fairly easy as well. Whatever you type in here will be there. Sometimes this one provides a bit of a challenge because you've got two things in one box. That could be a challenge. But again, you can take out what you don't want there and just insert. And you can space it accordingly and say, okay, insert a text box. So as long as they use the template, they can put in the information in a simple format like this and edit that in, you know. This one is fairly straightforward. It works. You can edit every question. The same goes for this. This one they need to create on their own, so they can create their own slide with the detail. When it comes to the financials, they need to do this on the financial tool, which is a spreadsheet, and then just copy and paste screenshots in here. To do a screenshot, basically, on a phone is easy, but on a computer, it's your Windows key, Windows key and Shift. If you click on Windows key and Shift, it gives you the option to select whatever it is that you want to, and then you can just paste that into a slide. So if there's anything specific that they're struggling with, I would like to, perhaps I'm more than happy to have a little session with them and show them how to edit the template or provide them with guidelines on how to do the editing. Would that help?
Yes, that would help. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. Anybody else with any questions that I can quickly cover and discuss? That's it from my side then, colleagues. Thank you very much for your time, your interest, your commitment in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. I'm here to support you wherever you are. Let me know. If Kolela, he's out there to support. He's doing a lot of the milestone coaching sessions at this moment. I'm sure he's reached out to every one of you. He'll run this session. There will be a daily open hour from him where students, yourself or students, can log in onto that session and ask any questions and resolve anything. And at each milestone, we will do a booster clinic. So if you're at milestone 1, let us know and we'll share a booster clinic with you. It's maybe a recorded session or a live one where we can help coach the students on how to complete the milestone. Share with them the example that I've shared with you. Please just ask them to make sure that they replace all of the data on that example with their own. I have seen a few cases where students have actually uploaded the example into the milestone now. So they might think they'll get away with it, or it's by mistake. I don't know. But please make sure and ask them to make sure that if they use this example as a guideline, that's great. But make sure you edit this information with your own. And make sure you don't miss anything as far as information is concerned. Because if it's there and it's not theirs, they will be negatively scored because of it. Okay. That's from my side, guys. Thank you very much. And I look forward to working with you all quickly, and let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week and best of luck.